Here we go.
Hi,
Hello. Hi.
hi. We are live on all platforms. We are on YouTube. Hi, everyone. We are on Facebook.
Hi,
We're on
everyone.
LinkedIn.
Yes.
We're on Instagram. We are everywhere at once, and I love it. Hi,
Y-
there we go.
Yes,
Okay,
here we go.
can everybody see me and hear me okay?
Yes, I think you just need to raise a little bit your camera because on Instagram you're a bit cut.
Okay. That's the limit at the moment, but that's okay.
Okay, no problem. And
All right.
Instagram, everyone see me on with the green screen, and on YouTube and all the other channels, you can see the actual effect of the green screen, the
Yeah, it looks
beauty.
yeah, it's great. It's great. That's
Yes.
amazing. Okay, so
Yeah.
Margaret is here. Hi, and hi Kapil, and
Hi, Kapil.
we
Margaret.
are live on all platforms. Okay, fantastic. So
Yes.
today we are talking about sort of a it's the total of the last two episodes. This is the third one in the series. The first one we talked about sick bodies in general, people getting sick, and what can you do, and what's that mind body connection, what does the mind have to do with making you sick.
Mhm.
And we also said that there will be some solutions that we'll get to. The second
Mhm.
episode we really focused on pregnancy, on miscarriages, on why do people have issues when it comes to this beautiful creation of life. And now on the third one, it sort of all comes together, and we're talking about how can anybody heal their body, and what's the missing data here around why people get sick and what they can practically do. Some actual drills that can handle it.
Okay. So you ask a lot of questions. Which one do
Yes,
you want
yes.
to answer
We need
first?
to, and we need to get this all done in about 20-25 minutes. So that's all. Yeah,
Easy. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Okay, so
So
the first thing, let's do a quick recap on why do people get sick? Let's start with that. Why does somebody get sick? You have a body, shouldn't you? I mean, and I look at it as people should just be healthy generally, and yet people get sick every 2 months. So why?
so sickness is the manifestation of an upset, of a disagreement, of a protest. It is like if you take a machine, the body is a machine. When the machine breaks, it protests that the force that you apply on the machine is more than it was planned for. So, for example, if a glass broke, the glass is sick, and really what happened, the glass protests the force that you apply to it.
I see. Interesting. Yes, I can see that.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
And the
Wow.
body is, yeah, and the body is very similar to any other machine. If you do something that it's not willing to experience, it will protest. And the protest is in the form of a sickness. For example, if I eat something that the body consider it doesn't like it, it's bad food or rotten food, uh, I will get sick, and the sick is the body telling me that there is a protest, which means the healing of the body has to do with handling the protest.
Yeah.
So if you handle the protest, the body will function. Does it make sense to you?
Yeah, yeah, that's very interesting. So the protest can be literally because some kind of a poison went in, or it can be a protest because you don't want to go to work. It can also be a type of a protest. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah, yeah. Any protest. It's really
Yeah,
a protest against life. So
interesting,
the body
interesting.
is alive,
Protest.
everything is okay. Yeah, the
Yeah,
body is alive, everything is okay. You've got a protest against life and you get sick.
yeah, yeah, I see. That's very interesting.
The handling is really handle the protest.
Yes. Yeah, I see. So that's the core. Okay. I'm with
Yeah.
you. And by the way, we have Arjuna here. He said, nice, makes sense. Anna, hello, Mayor Gal, great topic. Yes. And Annery, lovely to see you guys. Thank you for hosting this. Absolutely. Absolutely. Great.
So protest against life. This is really what it is. So when you handle the protest, you handle the sickness. And how do you handle any protest? By communication. The instinct, when two people fight, the instinct is to break communication. The
Yeah.
instinct is to isolate. The instinct is to individuate, to get away from knowingness. The
Yes.
healing
Yes.
is the exact opposite of the instinct.
Interesting. And is it usually the case that your
Always,
instinct leads you wrong?
always, because the
Wow.
instinct is not you.
Yeah, I see.
Instinct is actually a pattern behavior. It's
I
a
see.
machine that tells you what to do. Machines, the difference between a machine and a person, a machine operate on a pattern behavior. There is a blueprint that you operate according to, and a person operates based on the needed result. He looks at the result and he figure out instantly what is the correct action. He does not need a plan.
Wow.
That's why for a person, there's never a plan B. There's only plan A. Plan A is I will know what to do.
Yeah, I love that. That's a totally different mindset, and it's also being cause.
Yeah,
Yeah.
much more
Yeah.
cause than, yeah, well, let's plan for failure. No, let's plan for, I know. Not
Yeah.
even for success. Let's plan for, I know. I arrive, I will know.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, just on a side note, that's the problem of most leaders. They know that when they arrive to any place, they can just glue things. They just the appearance alone, the presence alone, fix everything, and so they don't actually fully handle things because they know anything I can fix anything.
Oh, interesting. So they're so sure that they can fix it that they don't care to actually carry through with making sure that it gets fixed by those below them. They assume that those
Yeah.
people will also handle it.
Yeah, so they create upset. It's like when you are young, you eat anything and you destroy the body, and you do drugs, you do this, you do that, and it's okay. I just my presence alone will fix it. Tomorrow I will be okay. But the upset, the protest accumulate and accumulate and accumulate that eventually the entities in the body says, no, no more. I'm not listening to you. Your
Wow.
presence alone is not enough.
Mm. So what is that extra thing needed if it's not just the presence, like in a leader, or if or in a body? If I'm young and I'm eating junk food, I'm like, I'll never get fat. It's fine. What else is needed?
You need to stay in communication with the entities that runs the body. You need to stay in communication with your troops. You need to realize that you need to stay in communication. And the situation is like that. Imagine you have a commander, and the commander communicate to many, 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 many people, but they never communicate back because he doesn't. When you say execute that, not each one of them say yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And the bigger the organization, the less acknowledgement he gets. And what happened over time, he assumed that because he's the commander, his commands will get executed. And there's nothing further from the truth, because
Yeah.
those people realize that the order has been issued, but not necessarily need to be executed, because he's not looking for an acknowledgement. He's not
I
looking
see.
for a verification that the order has been received. So at the
Yeah.
beginning, yes, there's a commander and the relationships is good and the body is small, and you give a command and the body improve and there's successes and everything is okay, and the body is willing to go through a lot of pain, much like any new country or any new company. A new company start, it's a startup, everyone willing to do anything. But over time, the commander becomes further and further away from the troops, and so he never get communication acknowledgement back. So he assumed mistakenly that his orders actually get executed, and there is nothing further from the truth. And that's exactly what happened between you and your body, which is your soldiers that's supposed to run the body. At the beginning, they listen, and at one point, the upset, the protest by the soldiers becomes so big that they don't believe that you even exist.
I see. Interesting. Yes, that's so, so, so true. Now, there's a few questions in the chat I want to get to, but when you say the entities that run the body, you need to remain in communication with them. What do you mean by that? For someone who's never heard this before.
Okay, so the body is a physical machine, yes?
Yeah.
It's a physical machine. There's things that happening. You move that, that's happened. This thing happened, this thing happened. There's a relationship between cause and effect in the body. And the body knows what to do because someone tells him what to do.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
this someone that tells him what to do is many someones, and they call entities. And entities are just sub spirits. It's a spirit that sub spirit. It's a, you can say, control centers that you put there that actually run a very specific cell or a very specific part of the body, and it's a bit like an organization. You've got soldiers, and you've got commanders, and you've got commanders of commanders, and you've got generals, and you've got the whole structure like any organization. Just the big organization in this universe is, let's say, 200,000 people, 300,000 people. The body is an organization of a few billion entities. And when you want, you as the commander need to stay in communication. And every time you are sick is just a protest that you are not in communication. And like in any organization, when there is an upset, the handling is not to use more force, drugs, but the handling is to go into communication with this area and get the area to communicate his upset. You as the commander has to fully understand and acknowledge, and then give them the viewpoint that they always don't have, get them to understand, and all of a sudden the willingness go way up and the barriers go way down.
Wow, I
And you
see.
cure.
And how, wow, and how do you speak to 200 billion or even a fraction of that? How do you speak to 1 million? How do you speak
So
to 1,000?
like in any organization, you speak to the board, and then you make sure that you visit each area and you speak to that area. And because you are very, very powerful, as a body, you can go and speak to 5 people or 10 people or 40 people or 1,000 people, and it's a lot. As a spirit, you can easily speak to any amount of beings. And
Hmm.
how do you speak to them? Telepathically.
Yeah, I see.
You just know that you speak to them.
Uh-huh. Amazing. I see. Got it. Wow. 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 Okay. So let me get through a few comments. So first of all, Margaret said on Instagram, yes, makes sense. Handle the protest. And Poonam said, wow, super amazing. Yes, it really is.
Thank you. Yes.
Then we have here on the general chat, YouTube, Facebook, etc. We have Arjun who said, nice, makes sense. Kapil, wow. So the source is the protest from the body. Amazing viewpoint. We have Maif, a YouTube user. What if the other party wants to disconnect? Like when you want to build communication, but the other party wants to disconnect or they completely disconnect from. What if the other party dies?
Even if the other party dies, you're still in communication. Why? Because the body die, not the spirit. The spirit
Hmm.
and the entities never die, because the spirit and the entities, unlike the body, is not physical. The difference between a physical thing and a spiritual thing is a physical thing has start, change, and stop, and a spiritual thing has no start, no change, and no stop.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's a nothingness that can bring about a somethingness. So for as long as you think about the spirit in terms of energy, in terms of a physical thing, you will be wrong. And I know that many people think that the spirit is an energy. The spirit is not an energy. The spirit is the source of energy. And the spirit don't die.
Hmm.
The spirit
Yeah.
don't have a start, a change
Hmm.
or stop. Start, change or stop is just a consideration
Wow.
of this
Yeah.
universe. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Okay. That's great.
Mhm.
Okay, and Kapil said, so the powerful beingness of those leaders handles the doingness and havingness of the environment by itself because of their certainty.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
leader will arrive. You'll see that a powerful person arrive, and by his presence alone, everything start to work.
Yeah.
Just because he knows.
Hmm.
He just arrived and everything is okay. Oh, God arrived. Thank you. Yes. So God,
Right.
not the God, the
Yes,
God.
yes, yes. Yeah, the god of
So
that business or that area
yeah,
or whatever
yeah,
the case is.
he knows, he will fix it. Oh, the doctor arrived. Now I can relax.
Yes, right, exactly. Yeah, yeah. And
Your presence alone, you fix things, and you see that any major leader, any strong leader, had the same power, and most of them, because they didn't know what's actually going on, and that they get disconnected over time, most of them die in a ditch on the side of the road,
mm,
alone and miserable.
hmm. Wow. Yeah, true, true. So Maeve said, great answer. So it makes sense to continue to communicate with people who have passed. Thanks. I'll continue to
Mhm.
be in communication with my dead grandparents then.
Yeah, I mean, if you can 100%, if you realize, if you're not getting impressed by the lie that called the physical universe, and realize that the being is still the same being, you decide to communicate with them, you will. And the only difficulties that you will have, you will invalidate yourself. You say, no, I don't know. Show me a proof. There is no proof in a non-physical universe. Proof you
Mhm.
have only in the physical universe. In the spiritual universe, you know, you don't need a proof. The moment that you're looking for a proof, it's a proof that you don't know.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, true. Yeah, that is. And Poonam said, start, change, and stop is only a consideration. This is incredible. Yeah. And Anari said, positive mindset conquers any illness. When you change the way you think and find many options how to help, you think differently and help you to be healthy. And having a support system helps you to conquer difficulties. Please, can you help if there's any other viewpoint?
Yeah, so I think it's not about a mindset, because the mind is a result, or is just pictures that you use. So for as long as you rely on your mind, you don't rely on you. So
Hmm.
imagine that the mind is a kind of movie that goes on that tells you what to do. So it's not you. The problem is your mind set. Any mindset is incorrect.
Hmm.
The only correct mindset is no mind. The only mindset that is correct is no mind. When you are there, you don't need a crouch that's called a mind.
Yeah,
And you don't need a support system. You are the support.
right.
You are the support. If I need the support system, I already failed.
And that's so different because people really rely on their mind or their mindset. And what you're saying is you don't need a mind. You don't
What
need
is
a
a
mind. You are you. Well, what
Yeah,
is a
what is
mind? Yeah.
mind? Mind is the first of all, my mind is not me.
My mind.
So it's
Yes.
like my emotion, my mind, my car, my hand. It's not me. So if I think that I am my body, then if I cut my hair, I changed.
Right.
Same thing with the mind. If a picture changed in my mind, I changed. No. If I realize that I'm not my mind, I'm not my body, I'm not my car, I'm not my home, I'm not my thoughts, I'm me. I'm the boss. I'm the commander. I tell my mind not to be there or to be there. You're with
Yes.
me.
Yes.
And the more
Yeah.
I rely on the mind, the less I am. You want to totally disappear, operate only on your mind, because you are useless. You have a program that's running in the background that tells you what to do. Welcome to robotism.
It's the
It's
computer
the
telling the
computer.
programmer what to do, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And Margaret said this is absolutely true, and it worked for me with Mayor's help. Amazing. And Arjun had a question. He said, "Are entities a physical thing? Like,
No.
oops, I lost it. Hold on. Are entities a physical thing like cells in the body, or are they the same? And how can we see and communicate with those entities?"
The entities are, as I gave the definition earlier, are a sub spirit. The spirit put the control centers. So it's a spiritual entities, a spiritual devices, if you want, a spiritual being that has a very limited power, and usually they are responsible for one cell. So every cell has its own entity that runs the cell and makes sure that it's operating like it should. And group of entities have are operating together to create a coordination. And the managers of each group of entities are a job is a coordination job, and the whole activity is what runs the body.
Wow. Amazing. And so I want to touch upon this because, first of all, Kapil said amazing viewpoint. My mind just got blown away.
Good.
And okay,
That's what
yeah,
you're looking for. Throw it away.
exactly. And oh, Kiana's on Instagram says amazing. Hi, hi. And okay, so there, before I get into my question, Mayf, YouTube user, how do electronics make slaves?
How do electronics make slaves? Well, there are many ways you can use electronics to make slaves. Actually, every time that you convince a being that he is the effect of anything, it can be the effect of thoughts, it can be the effect of electronics, you basically make a slave. What does it mean, a slave? A slave is a person that rely on anything other than his own to be the source of his energy, the source of his results. So if I need to consume energy, the body is a slave for food, because if I don't give the body food, what the body does, it works, so it can eat every few hours. Slave for the food. And then
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
slave for sleeping. And then you're slave for feelings, and then you're slave for whatever. So
Yeah,
every time
100%.
you rely on anything other than your own, you are just a slave, you're obeying.
You're right. And so there's another question. Do they being electronics, issue commands to the sub-spirits without us knowing?
No, there is no, I don't know who's they. So
The
the
electronic machines.
the sub spirits operate based on one of two options. When they are very, very, very destroyed, they operate based on predefined blueprints, which is the mind. And when they are very, very good condition, they listen to the spirit, and the spirit tells the body what to do. So a powerful person put the body in at least 2-3 times per day in near death situations. So there is some excitement. And useless people don't live, they try not to die. So the more careful you are, the worse you are.
Well, that alone is a principle that anybody can take. So we were talking about, entities and being stuck and different influences upon people. And I want to touch upon quickly before we get to actual some more processes or things that people can do to handle themselves getting sick. This Saturday at 12, you're doing a free webinar, which is basically an introduction to what's going to be going on in Cape Town, a 7-day seminar. It's free. You can go to gprosperity.com/Cape Town to register free for this Saturday. But tell us a little bit about it and what you're going to be covering. And yeah, give us some
Okay.
data on what's coming.
So you've got the spirit, and the spirit is, it's, you cannot even say it's powerful, because it's the source of power. The spirit is unperishable. The spirit cannot be hurt. So you are the spirit, and you cannot be hurt. Yet you get upset very easily. You are afraid. You get extremely tired. You get sick. You get worried. You are acting extremely weak while you're extremely powerful. And the question is why? How come that you are so powerful, and you know instinctively, you know your potential is here and your result is not here, but much below?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
How come? Why your results are not in line with your potential? How come? How come that even when you know that something is wrong with you, you cannot fix it? How come that even if you're aware that you're doing these things and these things are bad for you, you cannot stop them, you cannot change them? How come that you act totally robotically, yet you assert all day long that you are right, even if the results are wrong? And most of the result of most of the people are wrong, because most people suffer, most people are in anxiety, most people are worried, most people not live, they try not to die.
Yeah,
Most
100%.
people, in my opinion, die somewhere at the age of 15, 16. They get
Wow.
buried at the age of 60, 70,
Right.
but they die at the age of 14, 15, 16.
Yes.
They lose
Yes.
this spark of life. So how come? What is this mechanism that kills you?
Yeah.
The most
Exactly.
powerful thing in the universe, the thing that cannot be killed, act dead.
Yeah.
How come at the age of 15 you isolate yourself? How come that most people are lonely in amongst 8 billion people? There are 8 billion people on the planet and they are lonely.
Yeah.
How,
Exactly that. Yeah. Yeah.
how come
Exactly.
that you're poor, where probably the only thing that there is more than sand on the universe is money?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Something do not make sense, yes? How
Right.
come people think that it's so difficult to succeed?
Right.
To a point where they start to believe that they don't want to be successful.
Mm-hmm. And that whole thing is also, even if you do have money,
Mhm.
there's areas that you agree not to be successful in. Like, "Ah, I'm just not going to be successful with my family. It is what it is. It's my family is a failure. It is what it is." So you're not successful actually in that area, although you have money.
Yeah. So the fact that you have money do not mean that you're successful. Success do not
Yeah.
mean uh, success. Not all Jewish people are successful.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
So the fact that you have money or the fact that you're Jewish do not make you successful.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yes. So
So
how
so
come?
yeah. Why? How come? That is a good question. How come?
So this is what we're going to handle in the seminar in Cape Town. And on Saturday, I'm going to give the principle, the basic principles of how come you are not behaving like you,
Hmm.
where
Yeah.
you know very, very well that you're destroying yourself and everyone else, but still you cannot get off this suicidal track. How come?
Mm.
Because everyone, without exception, are on the same track.
Wow. Yeah.
And
I
there
can
is
see
a
that.
reason. Yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, no, I was gonna say I can totally see that because at the end of the day, look, everybody at the end doesn't achieve what they want. And maybe not even at the end, throughout, people don't achieve what they want. They die multiple times throughout their life. And it's not just that you die at the end, or I don't even think that it's just that you die at 15. I think that you die again and again and again. And as alive as you think you are now, if you look back 10 years ago, you're like, "Oh, I'm not as alive as I was then." And then you say, "Well, what am I gonna be in 10 years from now then?"
Yes,
It's you can't
yes,
even imagine, and the pressures of the world are getting more, and the general society is degrading, and it's a tricky situation without this data. I can totally see
yeah,
that.
yeah. So everyone is in the same trap, and some got, and some very little number of people are aware and wanting to change and actually changing. Some people are don't even want to change, don't even want to improve. They're not yet at the point where they want to improve. They know their life is deteriorating, but it's so justified that they don't, or they become so affect that they don't even want to improve. And some people, not only
Yeah.
that they don't want to improve, they reverse it and they actually want to destroy.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the bottom you want to destroy, just above that, you realize, okay, I want to improve.
Yeah.
Yet it's not there. Then just above that, you actually willing to receive help. And just above that, you start to improve.
Wow.
Most
Yes.
people at the level of destroying. They're destroying their own life, they're destroying the life of their loved ones. Wherever they go, they live destruction. And the destruction is not that they burn buildings, they just don't complete any cycle of action. Anything they touch, they leave it open. So
I
they
see.
fill the life of other people with mines because someone will step on the mine of what they did not complete.
Interesting. Wow. So what would be an example of somebody who just arrives in an area and doesn't directly destroy, but just leaves cycles open?
So I'm a plumber, and I'm working on a building, and I'm building,
I
and
see.
I'm running all the pipe, and everything is okay. But I just didn't weld properly at the most difficult area to get to later on.
I
And
see.
the building is finished, and everything is nice and beautiful, and everything is ready, and you're about to go to sell the house, and there is a major leak. You need to break anything and everything, and not only that, the destruction was unbelievable.
I see.
Or another thing, you talk to a friend and you're upset, and you tell him, no, no, not a problem, but you actually upset. So
Hmm.
now you're building a charge that the next time that you talk to the same person, you explode on him 50 times more because you are
Yes.
not willing to actually communicate. You are
Yeah.
lying continuously, continuously lying by not actually communicating. You're leaving cycles of action open. Most of the relationships are destroyed because one or both sides are not actually willing to complete the cycle of communication.
Yeah. To have
They
an
lie to
open
the other person.
communication.
Yeah, they lie to the other person continuously. They
Yeah.
don't lie by saying, oh, today's Tuesday or Wednesday when it's Tuesday. No, they lie by not closing the cycle of action. They had a misunderstanding, they had a disagreement, they had something that they did not fully communicate,
Hmm.
and they destroyed themselves.
Yeah. Yes.
They destroy themselves, and one day it explode, and they find all kind of false reason for the explosion, and the situation become even worse.
Right. And most people really don't have that type of open communication. Ever, almost ever.
Ever,
I've seen
ever, ever.
friendships of years and years and years that haven't ever really communicated. Everything was just sort of surface level, automatic, same type of communication. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
I had today coaching with a couple,
Hmm.
and this is a very, very, very nice couple, and they had all kind of arguments and blah 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 blah, and they had, each one of them had the reason of why it is happening. So first of all, I know that the reason they gave me, it's not the reason, because the problem did not solve.
Yes.
And we did an exercise, and what we discovered is that they never actually acknowledged the other side. Now I want to show you how it was, how the size of the lie, of the deception was. The one side will tell to the other side, look, I'm really, really sorry that it happened. But they didn't tell them what. First of all, there was nothing to be sorry about.
Hmm.
So it's a lie, number one. And number two, when I tell you I'm sorry it happened, I don't, what happened? You didn't really tell me what it is, so you're bullshitting me. Don't tell me thank you. Tell me thank you for what? Otherwise, it's not a full acknowledgement, and the cycle is not closed. So
Yes.
once they realize that for a year and a half, they never actually acknowledged the other side. The change was visible on their face.
Wow.
Total change, like new life.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. I can, I think that applies for every couple. That's, I mean, for
That's
every
what
relationship, forget about couples.
yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Amazing. Okay. So
Everyone has a
that's,
pattern behavior. That's what I do. When he's upset, I would say, I'm sorry. But they don't really sorry. What they mean is, go to hell.
yeah.
Okay, the basic thinking is, okay, fine. If that's what takes for me to get you handled, I will say that I'm sorry.
Yes,
But it's
exactly.
not,
Yeah. Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, like let me wrap it up by saying this exactly. And
Yeah.
by the way, Luciana here said, "Wow, ouch, Ashley, I can see that mending building together. So glad I have that with my son and boyfriend, Margaret True, Poonam. Only because of Mayor's truth helped me realize that I'm the boss of my mind and body.
Wow.
Margaret, I can't miss Saturday's webinar. Curtis on here said, I'm so excited for Saturday and Cape Town.
Yeah. Me
And
too.
there was an amazing question here. So, and it takes me back to kind of starting to wrap up, or the final practical points to take away. Not that what we've learned so far hasn't been, but a couple of drills that people can do. So Arjun said, so for practical application purpose, I can communicate with those entities by imagining all the cells of my body and imagining one entity along with each cell and assuming they are healing, right?
Yeah. So the handling is the following. The first thing that I will suggest is when you have a specific area that is uncomfortable, just say okay to that area. Just say okay, 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 and spot who you're saying okay to. Just say
Mm,
okay. Just okay, 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 okay. I'll give you an example. I had a kind of a rush that started here at the back. Red rush, something, just disagreement, yes, a
mm,
protest. And I was not aware of it at all. I didn't know that there's a rush there. It didn't bother me, nothing. And someone told me, hey, do you know you have a rush there? And I said, yes, okay, not a problem. I looked at that. And the first thinking was, it's coming from the new hairdresser that I'm going to. Because I never had it. I've got a new hairdresser that started. But actually, what happened was that this area had a protest on the way that hairdresser is doing what he's doing, the way he cuts my hair. So I started to get into communication, and over the last week, I just said, okay, 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 a lot of time, and it's totally gone. I don't think that you can see it, but it's totally gone. It's
mm,
basically handled from being red, almost like you've been cut by a knife, to it's totally okay. And I've been at the hairdresser, the same one. So it's
mm,
not the hairdresser, it's the protest. And when I started to communicate with the area recovered.
mm.
It's really amazing. You just need to say,
Wow.
okay, 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 okay. The instinct will be, what's wrong? Why did it happen? When you say what's wrong, why did it happen? What happened? What you do? You take what's wrong and you align yourself with what's wrong against the entity. You make the
Hmm.
entity wrong. But if you just say it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, you are fine, it's okay, it's okay. You align yourself with the entity against the problem, and you plus the entity are stronger than any problem.
Wow. Wow. That's super wow. Wow,
Yeah.
wow, and big wow. Curtis said wow here. Yeah, Luciana, amazing. Margaret, fascinating. Ashley, wow, I love that. Thank you. Wow, okay, love it. Mending,
Yeah.
building together. Wow. That is really wow. And
Yeah.
so that, and now, yeah, Carmela, powerful. Now, William is asking, I understand that it's difficult for those entities to admit that it's wrong, which I understand is an inability to have a viewpoint. What do you do to find what's right about them?
You don't need to find anything. You just need to acknowledge them. You just tell them it's okay.
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
anything you ask, you'll get nonsense. They
Hmm.
don't know. It's like when I asked this couple what's wrong, they gave me nonsense.
I see.
They don't know. Otherwise, they wouldn't need me.
Yes, I see.
Otherwise, the solution will, what they thought is the solution will be what solved the problem. So the
Hmm.
entity don't know, and all you have to do is to increase the power. When the power is increased, what's wrong is not important because your presence alone fix the problem.
And you increase their power by you combining with them
That's correct. By
against
making
the
them
issue.
right, not making them wrong, because there's no such thing as a constructive criticism.
Hmm.
You don't tell them, oh, it's painful, which means constructive criticism. No, 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 no. It is not. It's okay. It's okay. I can take anything. It's fine. Don't worry. You're not hurting me. It is okay. It is okay. It is okay. I know you have good intentions. It is okay. It's totally okay. And if you continue with it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, they will stop thinking that they are bad, that they are weak, that something is wrong with them. And all of a sudden, you will see that they improve.
Hmm. Wow.
And when they improve, the area improve. Now
Right.
it's the same. You take a child, you take a child, and you ignore his results and you validate his intentions that are always good, and whatever he do, you make sure that you and everyone conspires to validate him. Anything he does,
Hmm.
anything he does, he uh, he breaks a glass. Wow, you just figured out how glass working and that it can break. You are so smart. You are just unbelievable, and you are so brave to be willing to try it. Like
Hmm.
anything, you conspire to make them bigger, stronger. It's okay. It is okay. It is okay. Everything is okay. You cannot do wrong. And when you get
Incredible.
the child that he cannot do wrong, he will not do wrong. You close him on the idea that he's powerful, he's self governed, he can control the environment, he's not a useless a being or machine that needs to be told what to do, how to do. Be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful. Every time you tell him, be careful, you tell him, you are useless, I'm everything. You cannot
That's
do it for yourself.
That's so fascinating. You know, I was going to do this week, and then I remember that we wanted to answer this exact topic that we're covering, but I was going to talk about children and family and so forth, and how do you I have a few questions about how to make sure that a child is self-governed and where do you draw the line and so forth. And that's what I want the topic to be this week. And then I ended up doing this topic, which was beyond amazing. So I think next week we can touch upon that, and will
Okay.
be incredible. William also said, wow, incredible, makes a lot of sense. Acknowledgement, it's okay, beautiful, thank you. Arjun
Yeah.
said, totally enlightening. Kapil,
Yeah.
wow, truth about the truth, the most game-changing podcast on this planet, yes.
Thank
And
you.
yes, Margaret said, acknowledgement is like magic. Ashley,
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah.
So is that really the main process that somebody can take away?
It's the first thing that you do. And when you do that enough times and you're ready to, once you can confront that, so you
Hmm.
just say, okay, 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 okay. And from time to time, you can get the entity to tell you, okay, too.
Yes,
Yes.
I see.
I see. And once you are there, once you're really in communication, and it's not mechanical, it's not because I said that, but because you realize that you're in communication.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
discover
you
that for
discover that.
yourself, that
Yeah,
there's some communication line here that has been hidden from you
talking
until
to
this drill.
someone, yes, it's not imagining. Although
Yes.
imagination is the most real thing in the universe, but never mind. But it's not an imagination
Yes.
as a invalidation, but it's like
Mhm.
you're really in communication with someone. Once you cognite that you don't talk to thin air, at that moment you're ready for the next step. And then just contact me and I will tell you what to do next.
Wow. Amazing. Yeah, Luciana said this topic is beyond powerful and amazing info. Thank you for sharing the magic.
Mhm.
And okay, one last thing is just a reminder for everyone to register for free for this Saturday, 12 Eastern, gprosperity.com/Cape Town. You'll see a place to register for free. You're delivering a webinar, about a 1.5 hour webinar. It's an introduction to what's going to be happening over 7 days in Cape Town. But you're
Yeah.
doing this webinar for free. And just
Mhm.
for those that joined a little bit late, can you do one last piece of data about what's going to be covered in this webinar on Saturday?
Okay, so if you ever had something that you wanted to achieve, you really wanted to achieve it, and you are totally close on achieving it, and somehow it didn't work, and you were totally close on achieving it, and somehow it didn't work, you need to be in this webinar because it's not by mistake. It's
Mm,
not the food that you eat that's making
mm.
it. It's not your husband. It's maybe your wife. But
Yeah, so yeah.
it's not your husband. It's not your wife. It's not your upbringing. It is something much, much deeper. And once you will discover that, you will see that basically there is nothing you cannot achieve. It's
Amazing.
really powerful. I will explain the principles. I will explain to you what it is in order to totally resolve the situation. Of course, you need to be in the seminar in Cape Town, but even understanding the principles will help you a lot.
Amazing. Wow. Very, very, very wow. And yeah, that's incredible. We have Kapil who said he already registered. Luciana said, I
Good.
can tell this will be a powerful webinar. I registered. And
Good.
Nice
That's
Loom said, ooh, that sounds interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting.
going
So
to be
for those that
powerful.
want to
And,
join for free this Saturday at 12, it's gprosperity.com/Cape Town.
yeah, I can give you only one warning. If you're coming to hear what you already know, no, you're going to hear things that are different than what you've been educated to. It's
Mhm.
totally different. It's not some kind of theory. It's things that you will be able to apply immediately, even after this webinar. If you will actually look, if you will actually participate in the webinar, you'll be able to apply it. You'll see that your ability to apply has to do with your intelligence.
Mm. What do you mean?
The higher the IQ, the more you will be able to use the principle. For
Hmm.
example, you take a person that has a very low IQ and you explain to him some kind of a programming principles. It's too difficult for him. It's too not physical. A
Hmm.
person with very, very, very high IQ, you take Einstein and he comes up with ideas that are very esoteric.
Yeah.
So if you see a principle that you know is true that you cannot apply, you need to realize that you need this principle because that principle will raise your IQ.
Mm. Yeah, it's funny. Those things that people seem to resist that they know works is what they need.
Mhm.
It's exactly what they need.
100%. You resist what you need.
Yeah. Wow.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
By the way, even pain, people resist pain. And I know people will think that I'm crazy, but the only reason people resist pain is because there's not enough of it.
Mm.
Pain is heaviness. I know it's crazy, it sounds crazy, but as you will progress, as you will go, you will see that actually the only reason people resist pain is because there's not enough of it.
Wow.
What you have enough of, you don't resist.
Mm.
You resist not having money. You don't resist, oh, I'm so rich. It's not good. Yes. You
Yes.
resist what you don't have enough of.
Uh-huh. Wow. And may I love it. That's a really great concept. That'll keep you chewing for a while for the rest of the
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
Luciana said all seminars in person with Meir are life changing. I couldn't agree more. And Mitch
Thank you.
said great stuff as always. I'm going to listen to the replay as I only caught part of this, but I can provide a testimonial that what I heard, what Meir taught me in 2019, has helped me enormously. Thank you. Wow,
Thank you.
Mitch.
Wow,
Wow, in
wow, Mitch.
2019.
Amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
And Mitch
Yeah.
also asked, and I will take this as a final question. Mitch said, have you taught specifically about how to overcome resistance?
No, but I can give you the answer in 2 seconds. You overcome resistance by stopping to resist. How do you stop to resist? You just decide that you are totally willing to accept the other side viewpoint and you fully acknowledge them. The moment that you fully acknowledge someone, he will stop pushing.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
The moment that you fully acknowledge someone, he will stop pushing. He will have no choice but actually helping you. In Aikido, when someone punch you, you take the motion and you use it for your advantage. Yes, you route it, you don't resist it. And it's very good. There's something better than Aikido, which means you don't need to take his motion and to still be the effect of his motion. You can just decide that from the beginning he's on your side. So we both attacking the correct side. We don't need this whole, okay, let me change your mind. How do you do
Wow.
that? By fully acknowledging someone. And if you fully acknowledge someone from the beginning, there will never be resistance. And how do you fully acknowledge? By not lying.
Mm-hmm.
Most people lie. They don't actually communicate what's on their mind. They don't complete the cycle of action. They tell you, yes, okay, when it's not yes, okay. They sit in a seminar and they say yes, okay, yes, they press yes, they say yes, I agree. They tell you even, oh, yes, I had a realization, and they lie,
Mm-hmm.
totally lie, because they're not willing to say, actually, I don't understand that, because
Mm-hmm.
they feel that something is wrong with them by not understanding. And yes, there is something wrong with them by not understanding, but the only way to improve is to say, you know what, I'm going to blush for 3 seconds uh, by saying I'm not understanding, but I'm going to shine for lifetimes. So if
Wow.
you're not
Yeah.
willing to blush for 3 seconds, you will not shine for lifetimes.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get to a
Amazing.
position where you cannot even blush anymore.
Yeah, true. Now you take that data and you apply that to literally anything, but let's take it specifically to this topic around protesting, about getting sick, around resistance with the body, and that handles it. But you use that for sales, you can use that for marketing, you can use that for your staff, you can use that for anything. That's really powerful.
Yeah.
Margaret said, thank you both so much. That was amazing. And yeah, this really was beyond powerful. So thank
Thank
you,
you.
Abba, and
Thank
register for
you.
this Saturday, gprosperity.com/Cape Town, Saturday at 12, free webinar, and we'll see you all there.
Thank you, everyone. And Gali, I love you.
I
Mwah.
love you. Mwah,
I
mwah,
love you.
mwah.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. This was amazing. Bye. Thanks,
Bye.
everyone. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.